and change the clock. Stop scrolling. This is the moment everything changes. You've been tested, stretched, attacked, and overlooked, but chosen one. Listen closely. You passed. Out of the multitudes, only 1% make it through the fire with their purpose intact. The resistance wasn't to break you, it was to prove you. Now it's time to rise. You've been wondering why life felt like warfare, why it seemed like everything was fighting against you. But what if I told you that pressure wasn't punishment, it was preparation? You weren't being buried, you were being planted. And now heaven is declaring it. You've been approved, you've passed the test, and your assignment starts now. You survived what was meant to destroy you. That alone should silence every lie that told you you weren't enough. That should bury every doubt that whispered you wouldn't make it. Because look at you, still here, still moving forward, still refusing to quit, even when quitting seemed easier. The truth is, most people would have collapsed under what you carried. They would have caved under the pressure that was placed on your life, but not you. You didn't just endure, you emerged stronger. You didn't just survive, you transformed. The fire that was meant to consume you became the very thing that revealed who you really are. It burned away the fear. It stripped the insecurity. It exposed the gold underneath the dirt. Because true purpose isn't revealed in comfort, it's revealed in chaos. It's in the midnight hours, the silent seasons, the betrayal, the tears. That's where greatness is forged. You thought the pain was pointless, but it was producing something in you. While others saw you breaking, heaven saw you becoming more focused, more faithful, more fortified. You weren't losing, you were being led. Every closed door, every no, every rejection, every delay, it all worked together to reroute you to destiny. God was training you to carry what you're called to carry. He was sharpening you for battles ahead. He was testing your character before he trusted you with influence. That's why it was hard. That's why it felt like too much. Because what's on your life is weighty. What's in your spirit is rare. And rare vessels must be refined by rare fires. Your scars are not signs of defeat. They are seals of survival. They are reminders that you walked through the valley and didn't die there. They are proof that God's hand never left you. Even when it felt like you were alone, heaven was backing you. You were never abandoned. You were being advanced. You were never forgotten. You were being formed. And now, those very scars are going to speak to someone else's healing. The pain you carried will become power in your voice. The weight you lifted will become wisdom in your walk. Because you didn't survive to stay silent, you survived to lead. This is not the season to hide. This is the time to declare, I made it. Not because I was strong, but because I was chosen. Not because I had all the answers, but because I refused to let go of faith when everything told me to give up. You didn't survive just for yourself. You survived because someone else is depending on your victory. You're the evidence that storms don't last forever. You're the proof that God's promise is stronger than the enemy's plan. You didn't just make it through the fire. You were made in the fire. And that fire didn't destroy you, it revealed you. The warfare was never random. It was never coincidental. It was calculated resistance sent to measure the weight of your assignment. You see, the enemy doesn't waste his weapons on people who pose no threat. He doesn't wage war against the mediocre, the casual, or the complacent. No, he reserves his fiercest battles for those who carry something dangerous to darkness. You weren't under attack because you were weak. You are under attack because you were anointed. There's something about you that terrifies hell. And that's why the pressure came. That's why the betrayal hit so deep. That's why the delays seem so long. It wasn't because God forgot you. It was because He was forming you. The warfare was a sign, a spiritual indicator that you were nearing something significant. Every sleepless night, every door that shut in your face, every time you questioned whether God was still with you, that wasn't evidence of abandonment. It was evidence of alignment. You were being aligned with something eternal. And alignment often feels like disruption to those who don't understand destiny. But what you didn't realize is that the friction was proof of your future. The shaking wasn't sent to destroy you, it was sent to expose what couldn't go with you into the next level. Some of the things you lost were never part of God's plan. Some of the people who walked away were never called to your purpose. And if it hadn't been for the warfare, you might have held on to things that were actually holding you back. There's a reason the storm intensified right before your breakthrough. Hell always gets loud when heaven is about to release something. The greater the assignment on your life, the greater the attack on your peace. But here's the good news. Every weapon that was formed failed. You're still here. You're still breathing. You're still believing. That means the enemy miscalculated your resilience. He thought you would fold, but instead you forged forward. He thought the pain would make you bitter, but it made you better. He thought the season would break you, but it marked you. And that mark, that's the signature of heaven saying, this one belongs to me. Now the shaking has stopped. The winds have calmed, and standing in the aftermath is not a victim, but a vessel of purpose, a vessel of power, a vessel that has been tested and proven. You're not who you used to be. You're stronger now, wiser now, sharper now. The storm didn't destroy you, it distinguished you. You've been verified, not by man, but by God. And when God verifies you, no devil can disqualify you. What you thought was the end was actually the beginning. What felt like breaking was actually birthing. What looked like defeat was development in disguise. So don't curse the warfare. Thank God for it, because it was the crucible that confirmed your calling. And now that you've passed through the fire, you don't just have a testimony, you have authority. Heaven doesn't choose the popular, it chooses the prepared. God isn't moved by applause, numbers, or external validation. He isn't impressed by how many followers you have, how loud your voice is in a room, or how bright your spotlight shines. He looks deeper. He searches the heart. While men measure greatness by visibility, God measures it by vulnerability. While others were campaigning for recognition, you were being cultivated in the secret place. When no one noticed, you kept showing up. When no one clapped, you kept pressing forward. When no one validated you, you still obeyed. That's the kind of person heaven looks for. Not the one who wants the stage, but the one who can be trusted with the weight of responsibility when the crowd is gone. God doesn't crown the loud, He crowns the loyal. In a world where performance is praised and showmanship is celebrated, you chose the narrow road. You chose to stay planted when it would have been easier to promote yourself. You chose to wait when others rushed ahead, and while they were chasing the limelight, you were chasing the voice of God. You were building in the dark, praying in private, growing roots instead of building platforms. And now, in a time when it seems like everything is falling apart, God is raising up what He hid. You've been hidden, not because you were forgotten, but because you were being formed. He concealed you so He could prepare you without the pressure of people's opinions. Because when God finally reveals you, no one will be able to take the credit. No one will be able to say they made you. it will be clear you were chosen by heaven, not sponsored by man. You didn't get here through connections. You got here through consistency. You didn't rise because of a name. You rose because of obedience. And now, while others are surprised, heaven is not. Heaven has been watching you when no one else was. Watching your tears, watching your sacrifices, watching your faithfulness when it was hard. That's why you're being elevated, not because you sought elevation, but because you proved you could handle it. You passed the test of being overlooked without becoming bitter. You passed the test of serving without being seen, and now heaven is announcing what earth was too blind to perceive. You are the one. You're not perfect, but you're prepared. You may not be popular, but you're positioned. Favor isn't found in fame, it's found in faithfulness. God rewards those who are faithful with little, and now He is trusting you with more. You didn't fight for a throne, you waited for His timing. You didn't manipulate your way into opportunity, you surrendered to the process. And now the door has swung open, not because you demanded it, but because you were ready. And when preparation meets purpose, destiny is unlocked. This is that moment, not because of who you impressed, but because of who you became when no one was watching. Heaven doesn't choose the popular. Heaven chooses the prepared. And now heaven has chosen you. You cried in secret, not realizing that every tear was watering the soil of your destiny. You grew in silence, hidden from the applause, unnoticed by the crowd, but not forgotten by heaven. You prayed in pain, and though it felt like your voice was echoing into the void, every word was caught, recorded, and answered in divine timing. Your silent season was not punishment. It was positioning. While others were being celebrated, you were being consecrated. While others were being promoted in public, you were being prepared in private. God didn't forget you. He was forming you. He didn't reject you. He was reserving you. You were not being delayed. You were being developed into someone the weight of your assignment wouldn't crush. In the stillness, where no one clapped and no one called your name, God was crafting strength within you that applause could never produce. That hidden place, that place where you had to encourage yourself, where you had to fight through the fog of doubt, where you question if any of it mattered. That was the womb of your future impact. While it looked like you were being buried, you were actually being planted. And planted things always rise. But before they rise, they break through. That breaking you experienced wasn't to destroy you. It was to prepare the way for the breakthrough that's coming now. You see, God never reveals in public what He hasn't first refined in private. He hides what He values. He conceals what is cultivating. If diamonds could talk, they'd tell you that their brilliance was birthed in pressure. If gold could speak, it would confess that its purity was perfected in fire. And you've been through both. Pressure from without, fire from within. And still you did not break. That wasn't weakness, that was wisdom. You held your peace when you could have defended yourself. You kept moving when quitting looked easier. You stayed faithful when everything in you screamed for escape. That was heaven testing the foundation of what He's about to build through you. What others mistook as failure was really formation. The things you lost were never meant to go with you to the next level. The silence that made you question your relevance was actually the sound of heaven sharpening your discernment. The delays that made you feel forgotten were divine detours keeping you from destruction. You were not behind schedule. You were on heaven's timeline. And now the season is shifting. The obscurity is lifting. The same God who shaped you in the shadows is about to show you in the light. But this time, you won't rise in your own strength. You'll rise with the power that was produced in your pain. You didn't waste the silence. You used it. And now, the lessons, the battles, the quiet nights, the hidden obedience, it's all about to speak. Your silent season was never silent in the spirit. It was heaven's classroom, and now that class is over. God is about to graduate you into visibility, not for validation, but for victory. The world is waiting on what you carry. You didn't just go through the fire for survival, you went through it for someone else's freedom. The battles you fought weren't just about your deliverance. They were shaping the wisdom, the strength, and the authority you would need to lead others out of the same darkness. You didn't just endure pain, you gained perspective. And now you're not walking in empty victory, you're walking in divine responsibility. This isn't just about you. It never was. You are a solution in human form. A living answer to questions people haven't even learned to ask yet. What you carry has the power to transform atmospheres, to shift generations, to unlock legacies. That dream burning in your spirit isn't just a passion, it's an assignment. It's a divine dispatch from eternity, placed in you to bring healing, light, and breakthrough into a specific space in this world. You were not randomly born. You were released by heaven to be an agent of restoration, to disrupt patterns of dysfunction, to break cycles that have held families and communities captive for years. The chosen are not selected because they are perfect. They are chosen because they are positioned. You've been entrusted with an anointing that doesn't belong to you. It flows through you. You're a vessel, a carrier of purpose wrapped in skin. And every delay, every rejection, every heartbreak, every hidden season, it was preparing you to carry what you now hold. Don't let fear mute your voice. Don't let comfort rob your calling. Don't let the opinions of those who couldn't see your vision cause you to doubt the one who gave it to you. You are not waiting on a platform. The world is waiting on your yes. This generation needs what you've survived. There are people assigned to your obedience. They will never come into alignment with their calling unless you rise in yours. What you've been through wasn't the waste. It was the soil your purpose grew in. Now it's time to bear fruit. You don't need permission. You've already been commissioned. When God sets you apart, He also sets you in motion. The time for excuses is over. The time for shrinking is over. The time for procrastination is over. This is not a rehearsal. This is the moment. And the world is starving for what's inside of you. You are not just carrying potential. You are carrying provision. Someone's healing is in your words. Someone's freedom is in your faith. Someone's breakthrough is waiting on your obedience. This is why you were fought so hard. Because what you carry is not ordinary. It's heaven born and hell shaking. And now that you passed the test, there's no turning back. Walk boldly, speak clearly, move purposefully. You are not a mistake. You are a message. And this world, no matter how dark it gets, will be lit by the fire you've been carrying in silence. Now it's time. The seal is broken and the world is watching. Go. Chosen one, don't go back. Don't shrink. Don't second guess. You passed. You made it. You survived the storm because you are the storm. Heaven is standing, hell is trembling, and history is waiting for your obedience. It's time to move. It's time to roar. You are the 1%. Now rise and walk in what you were born to do.